DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
You're tuned in to DJNTV Live with your host, Brian Esred.
Yes, we are here. We are live, coming to
Oh,
you
hell. That was quick.
from the great northern USA, coming to you from Milwaukee and central Minnesota. We are here for our Tuesday night show, talking about important things. Not quite as important as Star Wars, though.
That was interesting, yeah.
That was an interesting show. For those of you who watched the Star Wars show with Ben and Peter, it was probably the quietest I have been on a show in a long, long, long time.
John was just looking like he was ready to nap. It's like, all right, he's had it.
Yes. So for those who are into the Star Wars world, there's and I mentioned this early when Peter and I were talking, is that there's those who are into just the movies, and then there was those who did the movies and it went into the extended universe and all the canon that they had, and basically the way in which the books all tied into the movies, and they kind of built off that, and it continued on, and people just built off the story. Well, the new movies that they came out with didn't do that. So it's been a very frustrating thing for those of us who have 200 and some Star Wars books sitting in our bedroom upstairs, much to my wife's chagrin. So there wasn't much I could talk about, because everything that's with these new movies, there's a part of me that just doesn't want to go there. I enjoyed the movie, don't get me wrong, and I enjoyed probably more watching my kids react to it, as you do with many things as you get older. So you see the excitement through your children's eyes. That's cool. But it's just not the same as following what's been laid out there before. So anyway, that's why there isn't much I could talk about.
It's one of those weird things with Star Wars for me, because I was just always kind of a casual fan. I've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
I was never a mega fan at all. When I was a kid, the Star Wars toys weren't the thing to get. I liked Micronauts. Do you remember Micronauts?
Oh, yes. Yep. I had those too.
Micronauts were awesome because you could mix and match them and build your own guy. And the Star Wars action figures, there was no action to them. They were just there.
Their arm would go, and then there was a lightsaber that could out from the arm, and maybe,
yeah,
and that was
it. I had them eventually because Micronauts went away and I needed something. But yeah, I remember the first time I went to go see Star Wars. It was at the Budget Theater. It was called the Canyon Theater. It's on like Bonita and San Dimas Canyon Road. It's not there anymore. It's been torn down. And last I saw, they built some kind of like Fresh Mart there or something. But it was the Budget Theater. We didn't go for the first showing. We went. Same place I saw Grease. Same place I saw Saturday Night Fever. Back then, you get in for a quarter or whatever it was back then. And I remember there was this lady in line, because this was the Budget Theater, and we're talking about Southern California in the 70s. There was a lady in the theater who, and we met her in line. She was kind of a hippie weirdo. She had like really frizzy hair, and she found a baby bird, and it was living in her hair. And she was showing everyone the bird. And then during the movie, you heard the laser beams and you heard the bird chirping, like more so when the lasers were going off. It's my first memory of a Star Wars film. So,
goodness.
Yeah.
Goodness.
But the weird thing about the Star Wars thing is, if I may segue, when it first came out, that was amazing stuff we were seeing. Landscapes and just worlds and attitudes and some of the coldness and some of the ways things were done as far as just killing people and not thinking anything of it. That's the first time I think I was ever exposed to that. we're just going to blast this guy and walk away and like it didn't happen.
Yeah, I
was-
agree.
That was weird to me to see that as a child. It was shocking. It was interesting. And the other thing that was crazy about Star Wars, not only the scale of things, you know, the little ship and then the ship that's the size of your house, but the coincidence of the whole thing. Wow. Just by coincidence, Darth Vader happens to be this guy's dad. What are the odds of that in the universe that this would happen? That is wild. It would be weird for me to run into a friend at the grocery store who lives in my own town, let alone come to find out the villain of the universe is my father. But this seems to be like a recurring theme through the whole thing. Everyone is related who was in these films. And that's so odd to me. It's like, you know what? This is not coincidence anymore. This is not, wow, holy crap, we see it coming. It's not weird anymore.
It becomes commonplace.
Yeah, it's like losing the flavor, I think, you know, in that regard. It's not shocking. It's not really avant-garde anymore. It's very much belongs as a Disney franchise now.
To a point, yeah, they really become kind of they've had it have a theme or a format, and they're kind of following that cookie cutter approach. And Ben has talked about that on a few occasions, that you can see aspects of this and that, and they're bringing them back in, and it's like, well, you want something different. You want.
Right. My segue on that is music is this way as well.
Yeah, that's right. I was just going to say, this is where
right.
we can tie it over.
It's the same thing. Where, you know, there was a time when, you know, you heard anything. I mean, for the first time, I mean, depending on your age, maybe the first time you heard like a hardcore hip hop tune, it was like, wow, this is shocking and crazy. And now here we are 30 years later into the more underground hip hop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, haven't we been listening to this for 30 years? This is not shocking and weird to me anymore. There's nothing they can say to shock me. There's nothing. It's just kind of lost its punch. It's dated.
To a point, I think some are, and especially in the hip hop world, I think that's why you see some of these hip hop artists who are going so far to make it that, you know, to get their name out there, try to make a name for themselves. They're putting so much profanity and sexual innuendo in and such.
No, the reason they do that is because their target audience is 14, and 14-year-olds are the only people who think that's crazy to hear because they've never heard it before.
Yeah, they think it's still cool to hear all that profanity and such, because I've got a 14-year-old in the house, and when he's out lifting weights and such, he's listening to that type of rap music, and it's like, oh, I shouldn't be playing this when Dad's in the building, and it's like, you know, I was a kid, I listened to things that had stuff, and I'm a DJ, I know you played some of Prince's songs that are pretty nasty, and they were incredibly great and successful songs for a bar scene, but they're not something you'd play going to church on Sunday. Not a bit.
Well,
it's not like a person's approved.
I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think we're the first generation who looks at our kids, and instead of being shocked and like blown away by what they're doing, it's like, God, you dudes are boring, man. You're so boring. And they are. Kids are incredibly boring. I know what I got into and what I got up to when I was a kid. And I love my daughter, and I'm really glad that, you know, I never had any issues with my kid or, you know, whatever. But man, geez, she really throttled back compared to what I was doing when I was her age or even younger. It's like, God, you guys are so boring.
There's a level of that.
There's a huge level of that in my world.
You mentioned, of course, the music that it was kind of the wow, and it was the eye-opening that oh my God, I absolutely, you know, you heard it and you were like, this, how can people enjoy this? That was probably the reaction I had. And that really happened when I was in that teen years, hearing things like Quiet Riot and Kiss and some of these hard rock bands that were coming out, you know, the Motley Crue, even during that period of time, the early stuff when they came out, in that kind of conservative way or conservative area we were in here, hearing that stuff, it was like, you know, people actually listen to this. it was such a foreign thing to me at that particular time. But it's just interesting how some of the songs, and Lori and I have talked about this, some of the songs that as kids we wouldn't have even given them the time of day because that was what the headbanging druggies listened to and did. And now those are some of the songs that become such a staple in our playlist that we're, 30 some years later.
Right. Well, see, you were floating on the conservative side of life as a child.
Yeah.
Where I was trying to push the envelope as far as I could. And it got to the point where it was like, you know what? This is almost parody at this point. Like with rock and roll. I mean, as soon as I remember the first time I saw the band Poison. It was on an album cover or a Hit Parade magazine is what it was. They were on the back cover. I'm like, wow, here's a rock band with 4 hot chicks.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. That one's a guy. Ooh, that was a guy too. You know what? This is just stupid. They're all guys. And then I heard the songs and it was like, okay, it's like rock and roll for little girls. No, I'm dropping out. I'm not doing this anymore. and really that's when I went really deep into like deeper into things like Prince and deeper into things like freestyle and dance music and club music, things that I had enjoyed but didn't really dive hard into.
Mm-hmm.
I dove hard into those things and I guess I never looked back. But yeah, that was the progression on that. It just became a parody of itself where it was mainstream now. It was for kids. I wasn't a part of it.
Sure.
Done. So I was and I'm still not on the conservative side of things for sure, for my age anyway.
Mm-hmm.
As far as my likes and tastes, I'm so impressed when someone can shock me and someone can turn me on to something weird or make me feel uneasy. I'm thinking about this with my next door neighbors. Very nice people, but they're the oldest goths in the world. I was helping this guy paint his porch earlier this fall, and it was warm out. It was unseasonably warm, and I kept telling this guy because he's kind of heavy, because he just is, and I'm like, you'd probably be a lot more comfortable if you didn't wear all black out here because it's 85 degrees.
Sure.
He's like, I don't own anything that's not black. And then everything that they watch and they listen to and they enjoy, it's all like, the everyday is Halloween thing. And they've been living like this since they were 15 years old and they're like 50 now. And it's like, at what point are you shocked by any of it? At what point is it weird to you? It's almost more fun when it's not a lifestyle where it's more like something you visit once in a while and you're shocked by it. But when the weird stuff is the normal stuff, what's cool? What's impressive now to you? Does that make any sense?
It actually does.
What?
You're actually tying back into one of the discussions I would have about one of the recent events I had where the normal and accepted and what type of music that I was expected to play at a specific time during an event. I was doing the Halloween party at the bar.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that because we talk about playing doing a soundtrack and creating an atmosphere and doing all these different things. And yet in the bar situation, you get 15 people who hit the dance floor. I went from being someone who could be creative with music and taking them on a journey and doing something that would be more of a slow and lasting evening to all of a sudden I was expected to basically shoot the hits right there and get them they're on the dance floor. We're going to keep them dancing for an hour.
Yeah.
And it's that, what you're expected to do in that situation it really was kind of one of those situations where it's like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because I know how this works, and especially on Halloween night, is if I go and I play all these big bangers that this group of people want to hear, I'm going to be losing some of the songs that I might be playing later because I know there's going to be a percentage of this audience that will not turn over. They're here basically to spend the night with me, not because it's me so much as they're just going to spend the night in this bar for the night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, so then I'm not going to be repeating some of these songs, which I'd prefer to do a little bit later after I've set them up better, but this is what is kind of expected and what's become the thing. And And it's like, I don't like that anymore. I'd rather do the shocking someone, playing a song which actually worked out pretty well because the crowd did thin out. And from midnight to 1 o'clock, Lori actually came up. It had thinned out to where it was more of that social crowd. And I was able to do that and play some things. And people were like, whoa, I haven't heard this song and I haven't done it.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I appreciate doing that so much more than the and now we're going to play another Bruno Mars. Then we're going to follow that up with a Pitbull song, and then we'll follow that up with
It's just so homogenized.
It really is, and and I suppose after doing a bunch of high school dances where we did that this fall, and then the last wedding I did was basically a high school dance for about half of it, and then you get to the bar, and that for the first hour they wanted to do a high school dance with the big hitters, and it's like I want to have that time where I can play that adult event where I can take them down and I can play something, play a Steely Dan song as an example.
Right.
And I'd be like,
right.
Oh man, I haven't heard this song in so long. I mean, that's really, that was one of the cool things about the Monday doing these music shows where we're going through some of the promo discs that Nick and the crew have put together, is that there's some hidden gems on those.
Oh yeah.
And you can go through and you might be listening to it and you're like, okay, this disc, there's nothing. Oh, hey, here's a song. There might be just one golden song on a disc. But that one song,
it's worth it.
Yeah, it could be worth it to have some fun with that. So,
no, where I'm at on that stuff. And again, I mean, I don't want to bore myself with just listening to the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And I don't particularly want to always. Yeah, I mean, if I'm at a gig and I feel like that I've got some liberty to just kind of do things and be a little different. It is always disappointing when the 22-year-old gimme mine girls come in and just want to hear everything they want to hear right now, and they're just going to get right in your face. We need to hear some Katy Perry, and we need to hear some Cardi B, and we need to hear something we can dance to. And it's like, bitch, would you leave? Mm-hmm. We were doing so well before you walked in.
Yeah.
And you're not drinking, so you're not helping out there. You're not putting out, so the guys aren't, getting anything out of you. You're just here to be a pain in my ass. Would you please leave? Yeah. But we don't say that. We say, okay. Yeah. Right. And it completely screws the vibe up.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that.
And we had that young gal who came in there. She's the local. She considers herself kind of a local hottie, and she came in there at 1:45, and can you do this and can you do this? And it's like, okay. I mean, you're the only ones. I have not had anyone on my dance floor in an hour. I've got a bar full of people people sitting around the bar who are
engaged, talking, having fun, tapping their feet.
Yeah, and are drinking and buying drinks and such. This is what we're doing. So she played one of her songs. She and her friend danced, and then I think they left a few minutes later. And it's interesting after they leave, and as we're kind of wrapping up, and man, that happens. These gals come in, and they'll come in right at the end of the night. They'll throw all their money into their jukebox, and they'll pick all their songs, and then they leave, and we have to listen to their crap for the next half hour. It's like, that's funny.
I know you didn't club much. I know you didn't do it, but I did a lot of it, and I really enjoyed just checking out other DJs and walking into a room and looking around and saying to myself, okay, so this is what we're doing tonight. I'm going to relax and check this out.
Yeah.
Now, it might not be completely for me, but it's different. Or maybe it is, and I don't know. But I'm not going to know unless I expose myself to it. So turn me on to something new. I just love that. I don't think anybody has any interest in doing that anymore. They want to be spoon-fed with everything. Mm-hmm. Like they and then they have this thing in their head where this is what I got to hear when I go there. And I'm going to have to influence everyone there to do this thing that everybody else is doing. I don't know. When I was a kid, nobody had the same haircut either. Everyone had a different haircut, a different hairstyle. You could tell one person from the next. Now everyone's haircut looks exactly the same, and it has for a long time. Because conformity is cool. Mm-hmm. Music conformity is cool. Hairstyle conformity is cool. Clothing conformity is cool. That was not the case when I was a kid. You want to be different, But at the same time, you wanted to learn and expand. So I'll see that today.
Yeah, I think that was probably the late 80s where that started to really come in. Mid to late 80s. Because I don't remember us all wanting to have the same kind of jeans and to have the same type of shoes until really Michael Jordan's was one of the first times that hit my radar, is that you had to have Jordans. And the girls had to have Guess jeans. And the guys had to have Levi's, which we probably prior to that, the closest to that would have been the parachute pants with all the zippers.
Well, that was all well and good if you wore them different.
Yeah, but no one did.
You mixed up with a different top or whatever. Today, it's like, it's branded clothing, like uniforms, like sports uniforms, or
yeah.
We're all gonna wear plaid flannel today, untucked.
With our Vans tennis or Vans.
Yeah, and we're all gonna get 17 tattoos, and because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And we're all gonna get big gauges in our ears, and we're gonna grow weird beards, and we're gonna be so different. It's like, no, you look like all the same guy because you're all doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's outrageous to me, but that's where we are today. This is what it is. This is what it's about. And we need to adapt. I think we should probably consider ourselves fortunate that we lived in a time where this wasn't the case. And seeing how I don't ever see anything going back to the way it was, cool that we saw it. Cool that we saw it when we did, because it ain't coming back. This is it. The age of communication. Everybody has pretty much, access to the same stuff.
It really, and it's at their fingertips so much that our job has become so much different than it was, because it's so much tougher to surprise people, to engage people, really, in some ways. And it's
right. Well, you remember? Okay, you're from a rural community. You're way up north in Minnesota. Can you remember going to Minneapolis once in a while when you were a kid and looking around going, oh my God,
oh yeah,
this is like another world?
Oh yeah.
I don't think people have that sensation today.
Not so much.
Because they're hearing the same music and they're seeing the same clothes everywhere, and everybody's shopping at Walmart, no matter where you live. It's all the same. It's boring.
Yeah,
and the people who come up and screw up your sets, they're boring too.
Well, and that's something we didn't see back when we were in the early time when we were DJing. If it was seldom, unless there was a wedding, would you have someone who's, you get local people is really what we would have, because we were far enough out. Now I'll be, I'm doing an event, and we've got a bus that came in, was in the bar for a little while, and they were like an hour and a half away, and they were coming up, and they wanted to go party outside of their area, and you have things like that where people get around and such, so you don't have that that excitement, I guess, is what you're kind of alluding to by going to the cities or going to the larger areas, because everything's the same. Yeah, everything, and so now they expect the bar out here to be the same as at the club in the cities. We got to play the same music, and we got to do the same routine. We got to do the same set.
I mean, don't get me wrong; it makes it easy for us.
In some ways,
it makes it very easy for us because we have all the same music and there's no surprises.
But it makes you want to kind of poke your eyes out, though. After a while, it's like,
of course it does. Yeah. Of course it does. I'm trying to look at the bright side, though. I don't have to necessarily really prepare myself to go to Illinois and DJ, or to go to Minnesota and DJ, or go to Michigan and DJ, because I know it's going to be the same shit. Yeah,
exactly. Because there's the regional aspect of it. Although I am surprised if once in a while, we're talking to Shani and she's talking about something that's regional to Chicago. It seems that there still is a level of that.
Well,
but not to the extent that
Shani's thing's probably, a little different, I guess. The type of things that she does or likes to do is probably a little different than the norm. I mean, you're going to find that in any city you go to. If you try to go, into this, I guess there's like kind of realms of what's cool. Mm-hmm. You can go like downtown anywhere, and it's going to be more cutting edge than it's going to be on the outskirts of town or in the suburbs.
Right.
It's going to be, sure, downtown's always going to be different. And that's kind of where Shani hangs. Shani hangs downtown. That's her vibe. That's her comfort zone. That's where she does well. But most of us are not doing that anymore. Most of us are out because the money's out. Yeah. The money's not downtown anymore. No. I mean, the money is in the burbs sometimes. And the party's in the burbs sometimes. It's not as cool as downtown, but there's plenty of work, and there's plenty of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess she would be, her thing is a little different. But I think to take Shaney's take on what's cool in Chicago is misguided, because
Mm-hmm.
most of the city is not like that. Most of the city is not doing the Shaney thing. Most of the city is doing something really different.
Sure.
She's kind of, playing like the cool neighborhood.
Yeah, and we pick that up from when she's talking about some of the different clubs and things that she's playing in.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that doesn't sound like my VFW I did Saturday night.
or your Sheridan,
Yeah.
or anything else. No, she's just it's different. Downtown Detroit's like that. Downtown Milwaukee's like that. Downtown everywhere is like that. But everywhere else is different. But I don't know that downtown Chicago is any different than downtown Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Or downtown Minneapolis. And Minneapolis was always the place where I remember the first time I went to Minneapolis, I was awestruck, because it was like this music mecca and this art mecca. And they supported their arts, and the music was cool. Even on the radio was, it was different.
Yeah.
If I go to Minneapolis today, I don't think I'm going to get that vibe. It's going to be the same stuff on the radio. It's going to be the same stuff happening. The same clothes are in the clothing stores. It's just homogenized.
I think so. I definitely think so. I mean, yes, you might have a little flavor with some of the guys who are spinning, but I think you would have more of a dramatic change, say going to a Toronto or somewhere like that, where you're going to have a much more active spinning culture than you have really anywhere probably besides Chicago and New York. I mean, those are
you can blame a lot of that in this country, I think, and not all of it, but a lot of it, on the consolidation of radio stations into national conglomerates, because you don't have that regional music support anymore. So it's not like Minneapolis has this station that's supporting all these local artists.
Yeah.
Or Chicago or Milwaukee or anywhere. It's all, what is it now, iHeartRadio? I mean, they own more than 50% of the market, I believe. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the chat. But it's just homogenized that way. There's a reason it's that way. Take that, combine it with social media, and combine it with just the state of the music industry. And so if we go to London, it's going to sound different. Yeah. If we go to anywhere in Germany, it's going to sound different. Same thing with all the other countries in Europe. If we go to Australia, we're not going to know what hit us. But in the United States, yeah, it's pretty much homogenized.
But even that, though, I think there's going to be a part that you're going to you see some flavoring. I think you see more flavoring from the homogenizing in the U.S. trickling over into the U.K.
They get our stuff. They do. But it's like anywhere else. I mean, if you've ever traveled abroad or even outside of the area you lived in your whole life, yeah, I mean, grass is still green, sky is still blue. It's the weird little things that really stick out and blow your mind. It's the little differences, as John Travolta says in Pulp Fiction. It's the little differences that make it odd. And that's where that stuff really sticks out. It's like, okay, we're driving down the road in a car and everything seems pretty normal. And we got the radio on and there's an LMFAO song on, and whoa, what is this? I've never heard this. Well, that's different. And that's what sticks out. It's not like you're in outer space. It's just the, as much as it is the just little things that are just blowing your mind. And it's funny because when I was in Germany last time, I was listening to the radio and I was hearing songs that I really liked that I didn't know. And they were American songs, and we didn't hear them here until a couple months later.
That always surprises me and even as I've been doing more research for these videos from Promo, the number of songs that only were released in the United States or they were released 2 years earlier in the UK.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, why would you sit on a song for 2 years before releasing it in the US? That makes no sense to me.
Well, when you're talking about a foreign song, it makes sense because not every you know, uh, not everything that happens overseas is gonna work in the U.S. I was watching this documentary that I've been waiting for a really long time, and I was disappointed. Finally, I was disappointed. It was the George Michael Freedom documentary. He co-directed it. He was putting the finishing touches on it when he died, and it was on Showtime. It just came out. I watched it this week, and I won't get too into that right now. We could talk about it another time, but you know, one thing that they were talking about was the Faith album. How it just America embraced that album. The videos were right, the style was right, the music was right. It just fit. He was he won the R&B Singer of the Year award in the U.S. in 1988. Now think about that for a minute. A white guy from London won an American R&B Singer Award for a Grammy.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense. But it was a crossover album that way. You know, it was getting airplay on the R&B stations. I was hearing that album on the R&B stations.
Mm-hmm.
And I Want Your Sex is a funky ass song, as is Hard Day and several others on the album.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very good album for that.
Now, he decided that he didn't want to do that anymore. He didn't want to do that touring anymore. He's 24 years old. It just, he wasn't feeling good about doing what he was doing. When he was in Wham, he was with Andrew Ridgeley, and they could talk back and forth about how crazy it was. You know, oh, this is crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. He had a partner, but when he did Faith, he was by himself. And he really felt uncomfortable after a while. It's like, man, I got nobody to bounce any of this off to. Nobody can relate to what I'm going through. I don't have a partner here. So I don't want to do this anymore. I'm in my 20s. This is too much. So he did the next album, which was Listen Without Prejudice. And he didn't do any tours to support it. He didn't appear in any of the music videos. None of that. And the U.S. just, they were so pissed off at him. Like, how can you do this? We got this record deal with you. You're not doing videos. You're not in the videos anyway. You're not doing any tours. You're not supporting this album. How do you expect us to support this album? We're not going to do it. So in the U.S., it didn't do very well. Mm-hmm. However, Listen Without Prejudice outsold Faith in the U.K.
Huh.
Outsold it. Because, and I don't have the same thought, but the general consensus was it was a superior album to Faith.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't have all the substance behind it that the U.S. wanted. Now, me personally, I like fun stuff. I felt like Listen Without Prejudice was kind of heavy, you know,
Sure.
and I don't like heavy. You know, I either like sexy or fun. Those are the two things I like. Heavy is somewhere that I don't go very often unless it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that was a heavy album. Not a bad, great album, but heavy.
Yeah.
I got to be in the mood for it. It's not going to lift me up. It's not going to turn me on. I got to be in this certain state of mind to hear it. But yeah, outsold Faith in the UK. Who knew, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And they've got people listening to all these different tracks off the Listen Without Prejudice album, some of which I'm not even familiar with. They go, oh man, I remember this. Oh my gosh, I remember this. Like, we didn't even hear it. Unless we bought the album and listened to the whole thing, because it certainly didn't get any airplay here. I think the only thing we got was the Freedom song and Praying for Time.
Yeah.
Off of that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know where I was even going with that, but I just went on this long rant to fill space where we need space filled on our show tonight, because you didn't really have a good show topic. So I'm just going with it.
Well, we have a good show topic, because there's things that we have as we've been doing our events and such. There's things that we have picked up, and one of the points that I wanted to kind of make tonight, we've already talked about, is that sometimes you can go into an event and you have a plan, you have a thought, and you put together a strategy, and you're thinking, this is going to be an awesome event because I've got some really surprise songs that I'm going to be able to do in the early part of the evening, because I'm building that energy up, and I'm going to be able to do this and do that. And I'm just so excited going into it. And I start at 9 o'clock, and 9:05, those 20 people hit my dance floor, and they effed the whole damn thing up just like that. And it was a night that, again, if Lori would have shown up for that particular night, it would have been one of the crappier nights, and it would have just completely sucked. But because she showed up, and then I could basically, it's like, I'm going to set it on autoplay for a while, because I'm going to go up and and sit and have a conversation up at the bar with some folks and chat with Lori, because that's when she came in. That's when some of the crowd kind of started to bugs kind of congregate around her, because she is that outgoing, chatty person.
Right.
So it was the best laid plans generally are going to flop.
Yeah. Been there many times. And, I guess my take on the whole thing is, when I have, let's say, a season where this just happens over and over and over again at my events, I need to win.
Mm-hmm.
I need to win so bad. I need to have a gig where I'm playing it before they can ask for it.
Sure,
I'm not particularly doing the same old thing. And I've actually got a client who's telling me, you know what? You can say no. And I want you to say no if they ask for this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like restrictions from clients on the music that I play, because I kind of want to take people where I feel like they need to go.
Sure.
But on the other hand, sometimes when they give you those restrictions, you can be a hell of a lot more creative.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's being able to shut off some of the requests, the bad requests. And somebody mentioned that in the chat room, that when you're getting a crappy request and how to deal with that. And in one case, one guy mentioned that he just gave the gal the headphones and said, "Here, you can hear your song this way."
Yeah. Well, ultimately, what do I care? Just so they're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just so the crowd's being engaged. But I've had clients before say, I don't want every wedding. I want something different. So I don't want you to play any of this other stuff. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, no. That's what I want. Don't play it. So what if somebody else for it? So you tell them I told them no. If they got a problem with it, then talk to me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they've, I've got to really be a ninja on this stuff, because they really want one thing, but I got to give them something else. There's resistance at first, but once I get a flow on it, look out.
Mm-hmm.
Look out, because something cool is going to happen. It's a night that you're not going to forget.
Yeah.
I'm going to create some new memories. I'm going to give you some new associations and some tracks that either you didn't know real well, or you knew, but you really didn't have anything to really associate it with. I'm going to give you a really good memory with this tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Guy Ocho again, which is fine. I don't mind playing it, but you know what I mean.
Twisted Mickey had an interesting question. What songs have you played that have flopped? And my immediate comment back to that is that we've had thousands of songs over the course of our career that have flopped, but there's situations where you are surprised, where you're playing a song that is a go-to song, that that this is one of those songs that works like almost everywhere, and you happen to have the exact right or wrong crowd for it, and it flops. And I've had that numerous times over the years. And then you're playing something that you're like, what? Why am I playing this? I mean, a prime example of that is for the homecoming time. I played a Bruno Mars song that I thought would go over very, very well, and the kids were like, they didn't respond to it. And it's like, well, geez, at this other school I played this song and they went over very, very well. Not that it's the greatest dance song, but it's a good song. And then you play something that like Fergalicious, and they absolutely went crazy for it. Dancing Queen has been a song that has flopped for me, and that one's either hot or cold.
I've always done well with it.
Yeah,
but I follow it up with Take a Chance on Me.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, you mentioned that. So yeah, you follow that.
Yeah, I've talked about that before.
I've not, it's a hot or cold one. They're either going to absolutely love it and you can follow it.
Well, where do you put it though? You got to put it at the top of the set. You can't put it, it's, or the bottom of the set. You got to start with it.
Yeah.
Out of the slow dance, you put that on.
You've got to, yeah.
You don't do it top of a set. You do it bottom of a set.
Yeah, it was 24K, William. That's the song that just was a flop, and that surprised me because I even cued into it and I hit it right on, and I thought, God, this is going to work here.
Yeah, but they've been hearing it for over a year.
That could be it. Is that they
or
just
about a year,
have grown tired of the song? Maybe, and for all I know, it could have been the homecoming week theme song. So maybe they've heard it 45 times during the every time they turn on the school PA.
Who
knows?
They got They got locked in a store, and that song was just on loop and it wouldn't go away.
And now they just hate me because I played it. But yeah,
I remember, going way back to when I first started doing wedding receptions. I was hearing what the DJ was playing because I was an assistant. I wasn't supposed to get involved with the music selection.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I remember this vividly. The DJ was playing all the schlock. Proud Mary, You Shook Me All Night Long, Paradise by the Dashboard Light. And here I am, I'm 17 years old. And I'm like, he's like, and I'm watching patiently and I'm helping him, doing everything right. And he was a real nice guy. It was my first time out. And I remember he said, you want to do one? I'm like, I can't wait to put a song out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait because this stuff you're playing is so shitty. You're an old man who doesn't know what to put on. And they had just bought Prince's Bat Dance single. I can't wait to put Bat Dance on.
Mm-hmm.
I put Bat Dance on. I was so excited to put Bat Dance on. And of course, cleared the floor. Nobody knew it. Nobody wanted anything to do with it.
Yep.
Like, this is such a better song. This is brand new. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe these people aren't dancing to it. He says, don't worry, I'll save it. I'll save it. And he puts on like Tequila or something, and it like worked. I'm like, how in the what? How is this possible that these great songs are pissing everyone off and these crap, schlocky, cheesy songs are getting people excited?
Yeah.
Well, guess what, pal? That's what your job is, and that's how it really works.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I never remember that lesson.
Oh yeah, yeah. And people come up and they're like, "Oh, so what's your favorite at a gig? What's your favorite type of music?" It's like I used to have. It doesn't matter anymore. But what's my favorite type of music? Anything that's going to get me a response on the dance floor and get me paid. That's my favorite type of music.
I'm done trying to turn you on to new stuff or cool stuff because you don't want to listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. What I listened to at home in my spare time. Well, that particular period of time, I wasn't listening to music because I was playing 3 to 4 nights a week, and I had no interest in listening to music beyond.
Right? Yeah, I understand.
But what's your favorite?
It's almost like if I like it, I know that I shouldn't play it at a gig.
Yeah.
It's almost to that point where it's like, okay, I enjoy this, so I know there's no reason to have this on my playlist for a gig. Because if I like it, they're going to hate it.
Yeah.
Because that's been the way it's been my entire career. If I like it, they hate it. If I hate it, they love it. So that's kind of how I do it.
See, Marcus mentions here when you're 17 years old, all old songs are crap. And that works to a point. But then we have to come back to our conversation a couple of weeks ago about Guardians of the Galaxy type of a situation.
Yeah.
You can't, because during...
It wasn't a matter of old, it was a matter of just, this is the best choice you can make. I mean, out of all the songs, this is the best choice you can make. YMCA by the Village People, that's the best you can do. Not even if you're going to pick a disco song, that's the best you can do. Yeah. Gets the best reaction.
Yeah, it does. It does, yeah. But it's
definitely not my favorite disco song.
Yeah, there's many more, but yeah, you just the young crowd. There's times where when my boys are being cool, they'll want to hear their newer music, but in reality, they know some of the older stuff, as even some of the songs we've already mentioned, as well as I do, which surprises me. Somebody mentioned, Don't Stop Believing. A lot of these classic party tunes that we still play, the kids know them, and they know them incredibly well. It's just at a school dance, it's not cool to play those in that first hour, because the first hour you got to prove yourself that you know the more modern music.
After you flex your muscles and put up your peacock feathers a little bit and show them who you are, and they trust you, you can do anything you want.
Yeah. Once
I
you get
believe that. You can you could play the hokey pokey and they would be down with it. DJ Aim used to do that crap. He would go in there and just knock him dead, knock him dead, knock him dead, knock him dead. Then at midnight he'd throw the twist on by Chubby Checker. Just flat out boom the twist, and everybody would dance to it. Could you imagine him playing that in the first hour?
Yeah. Third song in, we're playing a twist. Oh yeah. And
who the hell is this guy? Let's get out of here. You got to earn their trust. Once you earn their trust, you can do whatever you want. So.
And I think that's probably one of the biggest disappointments, getting back to that, is that they came in and they expected that uncha music for that first hour. and you didn't have that chance to build any kind of relationship or trust or anything with the audience. It was just basically, I felt like a call girl. You know, I was basically paid to stand up and perform.
I've said that so many times. I've just hung my head in shame and said, "How did your gig go?" And I felt like a whore.
Yeah,
I just felt like a whore.
I really did.
I just, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not turning me on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you like it. I'm not even going to fake it that it's not turning me on.
Yeah.
Unless you pay me more.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, I think I'm past that point now. Even, obviously, the money's being compensated is an important part of it, yada yada. But it's to the point now where I would rather go and have a good experience for myself, because as I look at it, I mean, there's a finite number of events I'm going to do in my career. And as we continue on, that number is getting smaller and smaller. And it's like, well, you know, why do I want to continue to do crappy gigs? You know, if I have 50 gigs left in me or 100 gigs left, whatever it is, you know, I can find much more enjoyable events to do than to go and listen to some little, surgically enhanced beach blonde tell me that she needs to hear this song next. Yeah. No, I'm okay. I think I can find something better to do with my time.
It's really odd. I mean, I was thinking about this today. Something else George Michael said in the documentary that I thought was very telling. I mean, I get it. I understand what he's saying. They were asking him, somebody in an interview was asking him, how do you want to be remembered? And he said a few things jokingly, and then he said, well, I don't know. I guess I'd like to be remembered as a a great songwriter, or maybe a singer. He said, I know people are going to remember me as this big pop star. And he said, and it's odd because I don't think we're ever going to see pop stars like myself or Madonna or Michael Jackson again. So I think those days are over. How do you say it? He said it very well. He said I guess the music landscape is just way too fragmented to allow that to happen again. And he's right. We're not going to have a big star again like that. We're not going to have. Who the hell would be Michael Jackson today?
Well, there's two options, or two guys, male performers out there who are building to that level, and I think you've got Justin Timberlake and Bruno Mars.
Yeah, but there's still the difference between Justin Timberlake and Bruno Mars and these old school people I'm talking about is the old school people were not one of us. They were from outer space. They were so different and weird and goofy. Justin Timberlake is a guy.
Yeah.
He can be my nephew.
Mm-hmm. Very talented nephew, but yeah, I get you.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm not suggesting he's not, but he's Jimmy Fallon's buddy, and he jokes around. He's down to earth, and I got a pair of jeans just like his. And who had a pair of jeans like Prince?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He's not bigger than life, and there's probably the point, is that you just don't have that bigger than life. Hey, I got a shirt just like Michael Jackson's. No, you don't. No one got a shirt just like Michael Jackson. Yeah, so you're probably the only person who's trying to create that type of a persona is a Lady Gaga.
She was, yeah,
and now she's becoming. I think her next album is going to be for the adult contemporary charts, and it'll be Mama cooking porridge in the kitchen type of songs.
I saw her 9 years ago make a do a performance right before she broke. That was 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. I mean, for her to step it up any more than she already has, I believe it's over.
Yeah.
Kind of like Madonna stepping it up in the 90s. Too late, girl.
Mm-hmm.
You had your time when you were young and hot. Now it's no. I don't know. Yeah, she did. She kind of came along. It was kind of weird and kind of cool there for a minute. I wish she had pushed it a little further. I wish that the record label wouldn't have shoved all those producers and songwriters on her that they did. That was a damn shame. Just a damn shame. I don't think Lady Gaga's over. I just think that she's on to a new chapter. I think she's going to be fine.
Exactly. I don't think the shock side of her is. I think that part is going to diminish and such. And Ed Sheeran,
I see her becoming like the next Taylor Dane. You know, it was really weird and cool, not really popular, but then she did really well on adult contemporary stuff, and she's not a bad actress. Mm-hmm. It's a very good actress.
Ed Sheeran's another example of a kind of the guy next door, though. You know, he's not that. He's not that bigger than life.
Nobody's a whack job anymore. I mean, even Bob Dylan was pretty weird. I mean, back then,
yeah,
Bob Dylan was a weird guy, as was John Lennon and George Harrison. Elton John dressed as a duck and went on stage. You know, he was weird and goofy, and everybody just it's this whole relatable thing that hip hop brought on with Run DMC. You know. It was like, rappers, we like rappers because we can relate to them. We live in those neighborhoods. We wear those clothes. We wear Adidas. You know, we wear these jeans, and we wear these tops, and we wear these chains. So, yeah, we like these guys because they're like us. I like people who are not like me. Mm-hmm. I like people who blow my mind, and there's someone out there right now who does that as a persona.
Yeah.
But, you know, George Michael was talking about that, and it got me thinking how fortunate I am to have lived through it all, you know, and to have seen it firsthand, where I saw something that blew my mind, where I was like, oh my God, what is that? And then I've been here for when that was happening, and I saw it afterward. So I appreciate it. I'm very fortunate to live in this time. I'm alive both before and after the internet, you know? I'm around. I'm a person who saw what life was like before the internet. My daughter doesn't know.
Yeah,
we've had a computer internet her whole life, but I remember what it was like. You know, I don't know. It's just I'm trying to look at the plus side of it all.
Sure.
And if there's a plus side, that's it. So as DJs, maybe guys like us, John. Maybe we're always going to be DJs because we've seen both sides and we understand it better than other people too. Maybe we will.
Yeah.
Maybe it's never going to end for us. I don't know.
Yeah,
we've lived to tell.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it. It's not just theory. It's not like me going out and, hey, I'm going to be a 50s sock hop DJ. Well, that's all well and good, but I wasn't alive in the 50s. I can't possibly completely digest what was happening back then, but somebody perhaps in their 70s can. Mm-hmm. But I'm not that guy.
I do think we're going to, in some ways, we will have a benefit because of our music knowledge that we have and our desire to learn about or over the years, you know, paid attention to what came before. Mm-hmm. Because you've got a younger generation that doesn't. They're not going back. If they're going to go and listen and pay attention to the past music, they're going to be lucky if they even know as much as Mike Walter teaches in his music history course. Their music history is only going to be a couple of songs here and there, and that's it. You know, okay, I need this banger from that and that hit, and that's it. So there, as you're mentioning, that we're going to have a long-lasting. Yeah, we're going to be able to continue for a long time because people our age are going to get older, and we'll be able to still surprise them with music, and there's still going to be value to that, and people will pay for that. It's just going to be a question of, will that younger generation, is there going to be this big gap of people then who just start playing what's just a radio play, and you're not going to have that the oldies type shows beyond a Clear Channel?
Everything gets old. Everything gets old. This whole thing with iHeart and Clear Channel is going to get old. There's going to be something that happens that's going to be a revolution. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be like anything we've ever seen before. It'll be something different. I don't know what it's going to be, but it will happen. It has to, because people are going to get bored.
Yeah,
people are already bored. I get bored.
Oh yeah, you certainly.
You know, with everything.
You see people getting bored, and in our local community, we're seeing that where people aren't attending and being involved or going here and doing that because they get bored, and that's.
Let me tell you something I got bored with, and I'll admit it here. I got bored with doing YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. Incredibly bored, because all I do is produce videos. Yeah, we've got our sponsors stuff, but then I throw other things out there. I get views. I don't. Hey, great video. Hey, what about this? Hey, yeah, but in the comment section, when I first started doing this, man, we had a community of DJs. Just a bunch of people as a collective who would come together and do video responses. You know, I would see some guy over in Australia. Hey, Brian, I saw your video. Thank you. Here's what I do, but I really liked what you do. Here's a suggestion, and thank you for the suggestion you gave me. Hey, wow, here's a guy. Here's his face. Here's his voice.
Yeah.
He's thoughtful enough to like produce the video. It's, you know, to put your face in front of something and be on a camera, you know, you're going to generally be more positive than just typing a comment where you can just troll anything. Hey, you suck, you know. You're not going to do a video with your face on it to say that because nobody's got those kind of balls, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I miss those days. So I started a new Facebook group.
Yeah.
And it's been around for 2 weeks now. And it's not a public group, but it's called the DJ Video Cave. And we're very selective who we let in. This is about people who are interested in not only watching videos from content providers, but to do video responses like the old days to videos that are posted in the group. This is not a place to post your pictures. This is not a place for you to type, gee, I'm so bored at my gig tonight, I don't know what to do. Or, hey, here's a picture of my setup. No, there are 75,000 other DJ groups that all equally suck that do this. This is not my group. My group is video, and it's community, and it's getting people to. It's okay if you see a video you like and you want to make a text comment, you can absolutely do that. But I just do not encourage anybody to go in there and just start blasting stuff on the wall about, you know, how great or hey, check out my mix. None of that crap. This is about helping people and building community within our what we do, mobile guys, or just DJs in general from all over the world. So I got bored and I did that. And for the last 2 weeks, I haven't been bored. I've been having fun.
Sure.
And I've been meeting new people. I've been seeing faces. I've been putting voices and faces and real kind of intent, you know, of what they're saying. It's got context that I never had before. So I'm excited again. And I'm answering questions. I'm doing several videos a day that no one's seeing unless you remember the group.
Yeah, exactly. I've noticed you've been very active with that, and it's like, holy cats, he's following a lot of different. Because
it's nothing. You pick up your phone. You know, you pick up your phone and you just go to your camera setting, right? Whatever it is.
Oh yeah, to shoot the videos. But I mean, there's a lot of folks who are involved with that with the cave now. And they're creating videos and such, and it's like, gosh, I want to start watching, and I want to watch, you know, to get to know these people, because it's a fabulous way to get to know people. So that way, when we get to a show and someone comes up and says, "Hey, I watch your show," it'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember you from that." So
we've got Keith Clark in the room. Keith Clark is a member of Digi Video Cave. Yep, I know what he looks like now. I didn't know before. I just see the name and the picture on the thumbnail. I didn't really even see it.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of.
So that's cool. That's really cool. I got bored and I decided to do something, not because I'm going to profit from it, not because everyone else is doing it, because I thought it was the thing to do, because I thought it would be cool. And I didn't really give a shit what anybody else did. So if you go and look at, you know, my Facebook news feed, oh my gosh, I was looking at that this morning.
Yeah.
The worst Facebook news feed ever. It was a bunch of stupid viral videos. Some people either praising or complaining about Trump. There was an ad. It was great. There was an ad for Buffalo Wild Wings. Right below that, there was this thing. Sad day in Hollywood. We say goodbye to Sylvester Stallone. It's clickbait. I mean, this is an ad. I'm like, you know what? This is what people see when they click on their newsfeed. Yeah. No, we got to do something about this. You know, we got to create our own content. We've got to do something amazing. Do something at least different. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, okay. I miss it. When where you met Keith Clark for the first time? Yeah, you met him.
I know I've met Keith Clark. But,
yeah, it was at the CD.
I've got brain damage. I know the face. The face and the name are different things.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yep. Because he sat in on the video with you that night when we went live from Canada.
Yeah. I know I met, but again, it fades. It's like, okay, but I'm going to see the name Keith Clark, and then I'm going to see videos that he's doing, and I'm going to mentally associate the name Keith Clark to that guy.
Yep.
Opposed to, here's a guy I did a video with in Canada, and here's a guy named Keith Clark. Here's a name, Keith Clark.
No, I get you.
When you're dealing with, quite frankly, hundreds and maybe even thousands of people on social media, that's helpful to me. It's very helpful. But no, I mean, I look at the name Keith Clark and I see the face in my head now because of the videos he's done in the video cave. So I don't know. I thought I'd plug that there at the end.
Yeah, no, that's.
And again, it's invite only. We're not letting, every Indonesian teenager in who asks to get into the group, because we get a lot of those. I don't know why we were like the hot group to join in Indonesia this week, because I was just declining 50 of them at a time.
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah, it's different. If you are interested in checking it out, you may ask to join the group.
Yeah,
I only ask that if you're going to start a thread, do it with video, and don't do any self-promotion in there. This is about helping each other, not about helping ourselves.
I'll just put a link to the group in the chat,
cool.
so they can go check, and if they want to, as Thomas Heath just mentioned, he submitted his application for the cave.
Yeah, come on in, join us. And there are going to be people who join the group who are going to be like, man, I can't do a video, but I'll check it out. And then one night they're going to be sitting there and they'll say, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do a video. Yeah. And I don't care.
And there's the thing is, it's just, take the phone. As long as you've got audio and a little bit of lighting, a phone can do a great job. And as long as we're not hearing, sex noises coming from your next door neighbor through the wall, you got to start somewhere. You look at some of our first videos that we all did, and they were like, oh my goodness gracious. But that's what happens. You got to start somewhere. And the more you do it and the more comfortable you get talking to a camera, in time, it's going to be something that will, come second nature to you. So you're going to be able to have that conversation. And I love that feedback idea you have with the video responses, because now it's like, oh, I have an idea. I can go click. I can talk for 30 seconds, a minute, and put up my response. It's just great practice for those who are wanting to get into helping to create content like that and sharing thoughts and ideas.
It's all about content too. I mean, I remember, if you look really hard, somewhere out there online, there's an interview that Ryan Berger did with me very early on. And he was kind of digging at me a little bit. He was like, yeah, obviously your videos suck. You don't really care about production value. You're just trying to get content out there. I was like, yeah, basically, I don't really care what the video looks like. And I think over time, we kind of got away from that. Oh, here's a better camera. Oh, here's better editing software. I noticed like the stuff that Bar does in here. His videos, he's got those really cool thumbnails that are just eye-catching. Mm-hmm. Where he's sitting there with the funny look on his face. He's got the head like, and he's, those are great.
Oh, yeah.
If I did that, my audience would revolt. Mm-hmm. They would come at my house with flaming torches and pitchforks demanding my head on a stick, because if I did that, it would be unauthentic.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to me doing that. They're used to me doing more of the punk video. So, yeah, I mean, it's so cool to do the punk video. It's so cool to just turn the camera on and just be like, okay, my hair is messed up. I've got a cold sore this week. I don't give a shit. I'm going to tell you about something right now. And it's about the content. It's not about a flashy title or anything. I want to turn other people onto that and give them that experience. And I am. And it's fun. Oh, my God. It's so much fun. Really enjoying it in there. So, anyway.
Yeah, we were showing my kids some of Bar's videos, and they were, because they appreciate his the edit work and the camera work he does. And he does a fabulous job. If you guys haven't seen DJ Bar's videos, you got to go to YouTube and check those out. But that's not, first off, it's not our style. I mean, we're not 20 anymore. For us to be doing a high energy a video like he's doing, which is, again, it wouldn't be authentic. It wouldn't be us.
Can do it.
He can do it. It's his talent and his skill and his ability and his energy. And yay, rah, rah, I'm glad he can do that.
Yeah, that was not a knock. That was just
no, exactly. It's just that we're the we're the old guys who are up in the Statler and up there for the Muppets.
no.
Saying,
He's top 40 radio and punk rock. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to be punk rock.
Yeah.
I even if I get good at this, I still have to kind of be punk because no one will accept anything else from me.
Yeah.
So the more punk I am, the more I'm accepted as a content provider. Because even when I try to put titles on stuff, because sometimes I'll upload a video and the thumbnail that YouTube gives me makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like, or it looks just like the last one. Well, I don't want them to think I uploaded the same video over again. Okay, so I'll do a screenshot and go into Paint and do a little this and that. And they get mad. Like I'm trying to deceive them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous, man. So yeah, you just got to kind of know who you are. You got to kind of know your audience. And I'm embracing the punk, you know? You know what? I'm glad I don't have to do titles and fancy editing. It's refreshing.
It definitely saves time.
Yes, it does. But no, I'm sorry. I took up a bunch of time on that, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, and Dave mentions a meeting bar at the DJ Expo. Yeah, and he and I, obviously, he met us, pretty much all of us at DJ Expo. And
yeah.
Just a wonderful person.
Yeah. We did dinner at that Italian joint.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Carmine's.
Carmine's, yep.
Yeah. We were all at Carmine's eating.
Waldorf was the name. Statler and Waldorf. There we go. The guys the two old guys up in the balcony there in the Muppets.
There you go.
That's kind of we become. Yeah, we're just looking for the. Well, gang, it's after 10. It's 10:15 here Central Time. So our time is wound up here. So we'll wrap things up. Tomorrow night we're going to be starting tomorrow night's shows at 8:00 Eastern. The first show is going to be picking out the Christmas music videos from Promo Only that you could use at your holiday event. I've gone through, I think there's 9 DVDs worth of Christmas music videos. Some are usable. Some are like, why did they even make that one? But I'm going to go pick out a handful of those songs that you could use at your holiday events. Then we're going to go through from 9 until 10. We're going to be looking at Eastern, I think the best from 1999. And then at 10 o'clock, then we've got Jeremy and Dave coming back with their wedding chat. And then we'll be back next week with more fun and excitement. So, Brian, thank you very much. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you, John.
Catch you later. Good night, everybody. And we're not out yet.